Oh, I'm gonna let you in. You were so close. It was so close.
Touch that.
It ain't no way. He's setting me up for a
The
big.
magnet's over here. It's pulling my hand this way for some reason.
I get it. I don't do jobs either. I know we've been on a roll.
Yeah.
We've been doing well. What are you doing?
Hey, man, the fans have spoken.
Yeah.
And they're completely okay with my flip-flops.
No, they are not. They are not.
These flip-flops are combat flip-flops.
Wait, combat flip-flops?
That's what they're called. Terrible for fighting, worse for running, and is their motto. Veteran-owned and operated. Do you not like veterans?
No,
you don't like seeing veterans
love the
succeed?
veterans. You know I love the vets, brother. Oh, well.
You know what?
There's one that I don't particularly care for. But, I mean, we got...
They've said that it's that the fans are okay with it. They like my flip-flops.
I'm sorry.
I didn't know he was gonna have flip
I
flops.
brought my friend
I may
here
not have
today
accepted
to
if I'd
defend
known
me.
that.
I had to find somebody big enough to hopefully fight you off a little bit here.
Man, we were doing so well.
You think this is going to ruin the show?
Yeah,
now?
people, you insult people with your...
They love it.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they're
I
into it.
think I see some cheese down there, too.
No. These are good feet. These are good feet.
Those are not good feet.
Oh, these are good feet. Yeah, these feet right here. Third place, South Carolina State Fair, 1996.
Well, that's quite the accomplishment right there.
That's right. I also won the candy cane, the candy cotton eating contest that year too. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Mark, we have we had some wrestlers on. I call them wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
We had some wrestlers on previously.
wrestlers.
We got some wrestlers on.
They're wrestlers.
But for people that don't know, man, this gentleman here today, Mr. Michael Todd, he's monster Michael Todd.
There we go.
He does some wrestling too, but it's a little bit different.
A little bit different.
Yeah, a little different. And a lot of these guys that come in here that have been in the ring with you and everything, they're like, Undertaker's the best of all time. I think you have a little bit of you fear this man a little bit when it comes to his world of expertise.
Okay, he pulled my arm off and beat me over the head with it. I got no problem with that. Hey, you can't be great at everything.
You can't be great at everything. You got to be humble and
I don't want to lose one of my appendages. But
yeah, so we've got 23-time
23. Yep.
world champion. How many national champions? 30-something?
36 national titles.
36 national titles. Yeah. Mr. Monster Michael Todd in the studio.
Man, it's an honor, man.
Hey, dude, listen, this is an honor. This is probably one of my highlights, just to be here with you. I mean, getting to hang out with you a few years back at the Nine-Line charity event, and then as soon as Matt told me about this, obviously I was going to make the trip. So super happy to be here, and thank you guys for the introduction.
Well, man, yeah, thanks for being here. I apologize again for Matt's footwear, but
it is a little disappointing.
It is.
We'll get through it.
The combat ready though. You might have saved with the combat ready.
It's combat flip-flops. Yeah.
It's so distracting. I have so many questions I need to ask him, and I just keep seeing your corns and your bunions.
Oh no bunions, no corns on these feet.
So all right,
23 world titles.
23
in the heavyweight,
world
super heavyweight division.
In the super heavyweight division. So you've done it all, pretty much. I mean, what's out there? What's out there for you right now?
Well, we're going to go ahead and jump ahead to that. So I started this in 1990 at the Saline County Fair in Benton, Arkansas.
Right.
So I was a senior in high school, could beat everybody in school. I was at Votech, and they looked across the cafeteria and said, that guy over there is second in the state. So we got a cafeteria table. I beat the guys like, you should go to this tournament. Well, that was 34 years ago.
And this was without any... This is just like
a redneck from Arkansas, right?
Right. This is just two guys. All right, let's see who's got the strongest
Like I said, he was
arm.
second in the state, so he'd been competing for a while. It was wrist wrestling at the time, where you lock hands in the middle and you pin them to your forearm.
Right.
Arm wrestling's got a little bit more technique involved, hand pegs out the side, pin pads. But so I did that, and I ended up taking third, and I did not like how that felt. So I came home, built a table, started holding tournaments at the boys' club. Fast forward, 23 world titles, 36 national titles. Been blessed to travel all over the world to compete in this obscure sport. Like I've seen so many amazing things. I had so many amazing life experiences because of this thing I started a long time ago, right?
Yeah. So I think it's one of those sports that's probably, is it bigger like internationally than it is here in the States?
Yeah, so especially in Eastern Europe, the Eastern European culture, it's almost more important to be strong than it is to be wealthy. They put a lot of emphasis on strength, right?
Sure.
So the best right now in the world basically are from Eastern Europe. Russia, Ukraine, Republic of Georgia, Kazakhstan, like
Right.
they have some, but they treat it like a professional sport. The hierarchy of sports in the United States or North America, arm wrestling's so low on the totem pole. Over there, it's actually taught in schools in certain places.
Wow.
So, yeah, arm wrestling is a much bigger deal in Eastern Europe, but it's just an amazing sport. The camaraderie between athletes, I mean, it's the closest thing to fighting without getting hit in the face. So there's that true one-on-one, and I love this sport. Like I said, I'm 51 years old, so 2/3 of my life I've been doing this. But as of what's next, so I had a pretty catastrophic injury February 25th last year. I had over 70 plus fractures in my right arm. Like I'd lost 18.5 inches range of motion. My arm wouldn't come close from this, wouldn't straighten past that. But I still competed on it.
It could be due to the mass of that thing.
I like how you think. But actually it was a big mass of bone from all these fractures. I had about the size of a tennis ball. I guess they called it osteophytes from all the different breaks. Well, I was going touring the United States, doing a quest to win 100 first places. It had never been done before. I was going to hit tournaments every weekend and try to win 100 first place awards, right? I had done 2 events. I was at 16 first places. I had 6 divisions at this one event. And the second division, first match, hit the guy over. We slipped. Bicep tendon rips off the bone. So I didn't realize until after the fact that the osteophytes had a surface like a coral reef. So
Right.
every time I used my bicep, it was just sawing away at it. So it didn't just rip off the bone; it shredded north to south. And
Oh, man.
But the thing, I'm gonna tell you, this is what's crazy. I'm kind of jumping around here. We had done a tour in the UK a few months before, and I love being an athlete. Like I love CrossFit. I like to push myself. And I told them, I was doing this seminar, and I said, hey, if I could get my range of motion back, I would go back to the most basic level of strength to start over to have range of motion. And then it wasn't 4 months, 5 months later, my bicep blows off the bone. Because every doctor I talked to said the most that we do would be an elbow replacement. I wouldn't be able to lift over 30 pounds, so that wasn't going to work. Well, this doctor's like, I can fix that, but we got to take all that bone out. I'm like, I don't think you can take the bone. I said, no, I got it. So he digs in
I
there.
got it. Don't worry about it. I got it.
So I just had complete faith that this dude
take a
had
nap.
it, right? Yeah. So he went in there, and his surgery's supposed to be like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Ended up being like 4.5 hours. But he took away all this bone, chipped it all out, reattached my tendons, resutured it, retuberalized it, and he literally told me my bones would splinter apart before my bicep tendon came back out. So that was March 3rd last year.
March 3rd.
I had never in my life not lifted weights more than a week. So I had 13 weeks where I couldn't touch anything. And it was so horrible.
Yeah,
right?
it's brutal.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. So I had to go ahead and watch this sport that I had thought about retiring from, or like,
Right.
maybe moving on from to the next chapter of my life. And I had to sit there and watch it, and watching it and seeing people do what I love to do so much got that hunger back, right?
Yep.
So when you said what's left to accomplish, there's a guy from the Republic of Georgia named Levon Sagnashvili. He's about 380 pounds. He's the undefeated super heavyweight champion of the world. And that's the goal.
That's the goal. He's
That's
the
it.
goal. He's
Yeah,
the
so-
one that wakes the monster up.
And it's it. And I love the guy. He's a great guy. We're good friends, but someone's got to beat him. Might as well be me.
Might
right?
as well be you.
So, I mean, it's a 12 to 18 month goal from now. I'm not strong enough to do it now. He'd probably run right over me. But I have a new arm. I've had blessed to have a lot of stem cells in the last year and a half. I've had some really good partners. I got a hyperbaric chamber at home. I have all the things I need to treat myself like a professional athlete,
Right.
and do the recovery and everything I need to reach that goal. So it's just I got to do the work and let God take over. So
That's one of the things with my career I wish I had been a little bit more cognizant of, is just the recovery and the modalities of the different things that I should have been doing to heal and just like
So Jack Daniels didn't.
Well,
it wasn't a good.
I thought it was a cure-all, but it was
Apparently
like
not.
Almost, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So what does? So obviously Are you still in the rehab phase?
No, I've had 3
Okay.
matches back. So
Okay.
And so I came back. I had 1 match, and then I had 2 matches in the heavyweight division. So my goal was to have these 2 matches in the heavyweight division, and then immediately after weighing in for my last match, I was going to go completely unrestricted caloric intake for 12 to 18 months. I'm a short, fat kid growing up, so I'm really a fatty. So I want to be fit. So I've never allowed myself to just take unlimited calories more than 6 or 8 weeks, because at some point I'm like, oh, I feel fat. I got to get back in shape. I got to
Right.
get back out. And as the son just a minute ago, anytime you put a restriction on your caloric intake, you're going to put a ceiling on how strong you can get.
Yep.
So I told myself, like, listen, I'm going to go 12 to 18 months. I'm not going to eat bad food. I'm just going to eat a surplus of healthy food. High protein, high carbs, moderate fat. Well, in between that last match that I had, an opportunity presented itself. There's Devin Larratt, who is a Canadian arm wrestling champion, world arm wrestling champion, and probably most popular guy across social media, probably the most known arm wrestler out there. And he had won the heavyweight title, and then that was in November 2022, and he went to go chase Levon. And he got as high as number 2 overall in the world. He pulled Levon, and it was the second time he got to face him, and he was unsuccessful. And because he was so long out of the heavyweights, the heavyweight title was stripped. So the promoter of the league said, hey, if you win your next match in Dubai, October 10th in Orlando, we'll let you pull for the heavyweight world title. So I'm like, well, I was going to get big, but that heavyweight title is kind of, enticing.
Yeah, kind of enticing,
Number 24 wouldn't be too bad, right?
Right.
So, and it's the only professional league. So there's been multiple professional leagues over the last 10, 15 years. I've been blessed to win the world title of every major league except for King of the Table and East versus West. Now they're a combined promotion, and this is that heavyweight world title I was getting a shot at. Well, they told me that if I won the match, I'd get that match, and my opponent would not have a match between then.
Right.
They booked him a match last week. He got injured.
Oh, man.
So my match is off. So now I don't have a shot at the world title because there is nobody that is a suitable replacement that can come in because they can't get a visa in time because they're all from Ukraine or Russia or whatever. So the moment that happened, I was not going to pull another heavyweight match just to have another rankings match. I'm like, I'm back to the original goal, pursuit of greatness, go after overall number 1. And so now I'm pulling a very strong Polish arm wrestler named Kamil Jablonski. And he's a dead wrist presser. So like he bends his wrist back and just throws his shoulder on top of it. And he's very, very proficient at it. I'm actually really good at that same technique as well. So about to see 2 really strong guys clash in the center table here in about 4 weeks.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
So, but that's, to me, I mean, I'm fully focused on that match. But like I said, the ultimate goal is overall number 1. So
In the super heavyweight.
yeah, that's it.
So what does a typical training day look like for you? Like obviously you have to you're lifting and but I can't imagine like the stuff that you would have to do for your ligaments and your tendons and everything else, plus the amount of sparring.
Yeah, so there's a lot of table time. After 34 years, I know how to arm wrestle, right? So I don't have to arm wrestle as much as, say, if you were starting to get into arm wrestling, we'd have to, you have to get proficient on the table and the techniques and everything else. A lot of it now is making sure that I'm strong enough in the right areas to execute the techniques. So I trained a little bit different than most other arm wrestlers because I still want to be an athlete, so I train my entire body. And then I found a way, and so this goes back to probably 15 years ago. So I've been doing this for 34 now. So I've been at it 20 years, and it wasn't fun anymore. It was a job. It's something I had to do. So how can I get it done as quick as possible? So I kind of came up with this way to just get in and out of the gym. Mm-hmm. I go nonstop or as hard as I can for about 15 minutes, and that was it. That would be my entire workout. But it would be 150 reps of chest and 150 reps of back, plus all kinds of hand and wrist circuit that I would just do nonstop. And basically what it meant was, as soon as the match stops, ready, go, boom, and I stop the match, I know I'm going to 100% of my maximum effort for up to 10 minutes because I do it every day in the gym, right? So once the match stops, I know I'm going to win. And that was kind of my mentality. I've had some setbacks, some injuries, and got really bad COVID back in 2021, double pneumonia, all that. And that really, it took me down. I had some nerve damage, some different things, in the biceps. So now the injury's back. I'm healed back from that. So now I still do my same circuits, but I'm doing arm wrestling specific lifts on top of it. But I still do chest, back, arm, shoulders. But within these circuits, I have a reverse wrist roller, a forward wrist roll. I'll take a gripper. This doesn't really matter that much, but if you flex it this way and do it, makes a huge difference. So I'll do like 5 sets of 50 and pronated rope pulling. I do rice bucket every day now, and then I have these arm wrestling specific lifts that I do every single day. So it's
describe. I'm just because I'm a novice. So what is a
arm wrestling specific lift?
Yeah.
Okay. So and I almost brought it. I almost brought the weight stack here for us to try it because it's so funny because I posted on social media and you get all the people like, oh, that's easy. I could do that easy. Well, so it's a pronation lift. So basically you're going to put this strap around your thumb. You're going to put your elbow up against your thigh and you're going to squat down real low and you're going to try to raise this weight off the ground. Well, it doesn't look like you're doing much except that strap tries to turn your palm up. So once your palm gets turned up or supinated up, the lift's a failure, right? Because you're trying to train pronation.
Sure.
So arm wrestling has very unique strengths from the rise of your wrist, bring this knuckle up. So the rise of your wrist, pronation of your hand, supination, pronation, cupping. There's all these very specific things you have to do. So that pronation lift, I'm actually to a point, I'd hit a PR of 154 pounds, which is top 5 heaviest probably ever done.
Right.
And couldn't get any higher. So I knew I had 55 days worth of training and then a week of rest before my next match. And I thought, okay, I'm going to strip that down 25 pounds to a weight that I know I can do. And I'm going to add small amounts of weight every day. So start off like 1.5 pounds, then 1 pound. Now it's 0.75 pounds. So I add 0.75 pounds every single day. And I just walk out there cold. After feeding the dogs and the cat, I walk outside, I grab this thing, and I nail it every day. And I've blown past my PR because I don't notice the 0.75 pounds every day. So I just hit 158 and a quarter the other day.
Holy crap.
The one I posted today was 158 and a quarter. And the heaviest ever done, Levon did 176. Devin did 165. I think I'll beat Devin's within the next 2 weeks. And then I don't think I'll beat Levon before my match, but I think I'll pass him this year. And that's just one movement. So even if I can beat their lifts, doesn't mean I can beat them on the table. It just means there's a specific area of strength that I'm as good as them or better.
Sure.
But if you look at it online, it doesn't look like it's a hard movement.
It doesn't.
Like you look at it and you just think, I'm a pretty strong guy. I could probably pick that up.
Right. It's crazy how humbling it is.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's just one exercise. And then you have where you wrap the strap here, you put it over the top of your knuckle, and it's a riser lift. So you have to engage your riser and then successfully get it off the ground without this dumping. So that's the riser lift. And you have cupping exercises. Now, the thing that's crazy is most people think arm wrestling is just a side-to-side pushing motion, right?
Right.
And there is a technique called a shoulder press, like the guy I'm going to pull from Poland. He's going to come in towards me and drive straight at me. Heavy chest, heavy shoulder, heavy tricep driven. But basically, arm wrestling is a pulling sport. Like you have the center of the table, we have a table over there, hand peg to hand peg center. On go, your objective is to pull me as close to you as possible. So arm wrestling is really a tug of war. The back is the biggest muscle that you use, but the most important is your hand and wrist. So it doesn't matter how strong your back is if your hand and wrist can't support that pressure when you drag back. So let's say your back's as strong as mine, but if we start to apply back pressure and your wrist gives, it doesn't matter how strong your back is because I've just taken control of your hand. So much of it is that control, the center table control, whether it's sideways or front to back. So the back is a big muscle that you have to use, but you have to have the hand and wrist to support it. And then a lot of matches, once you ready go, you slip, you go straight into the strap. And then there's different strap applications that you can do to get a better setup. It's crazy. It's like physical chess.
Right.
Like there's counters for every move, and most people are playing multiple moves ahead. So
Right.
A lot of matches happen real fast, but once you're at our level, everybody's very close in strength. And then it comes down to out arm wrestling your opponent.
Right. Yeah. I think that's the biggest. I think most people, like novice people that don't really follow it, just think, oh, okay, it's just two guys strapping up, and you know. But when you when you start watching it and you start, does body type? Do you go in my so? You obviously strategize, so you've got this match coming up, so you know exactly what his strength is. So are you thinking about, obviously you're thinking about how to defend, I guess, his technique, but do you change what you do?
So I think I know where you're going with the question. So normally I do what I do and expect that what I do is better than what you do. And I don't really care who you are or what you're going to do. I'm just going to do what I do.
Mark, we got a new sponsor. Artisan Grange.
Artisan Grange.
They're right here in Texas.
Good.
They do like a hemp pouch, non-tobacco, non-nicotine. Looks like a dip can, so you can still look cool with it in your back pocket.
Get that skull ring in your back
That's
pocket.
right. You can get that ring in your back pocket, right? Like all the cool kids are doing. But they got great flavors: cinnamon, mint. They got like a coffee one as well.
Really?
Oh yeah. You don't have to spit. You don't have to do any of that stuff. Just a little pouch.
Yeah, let me try one.
Smells good. Throw it in your lip. You can do one in the lower. You can do one in the top. Look at this. You can just fill your mouth full of. My granny used to do snuff up there at the top of her lip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a great aunt that did that. Mm-hmm. I had a silver can on her porch.
Well, this no tobacco, no nicotine, Artisan Grange, Texas-based, Texas born and bred, right here, just like you.
Got to be a good company.
It's got to be a good company. All people need to do is just click the link in our description. They can get themselves some cans also. Like I said, tons of different flavors. They all taste really good. And they're just made of hemp, 5 milligrams of CBD. It's not going to get you high. It's not going to get you any of that crap that people will think. It's just good for you.
It's just good for you.
It's just good for you. Maybe helps you get off tobacco. Maybe it helps get you off nicotine, whatever, and be a little bit more of a natural alternative to
natural
dipping.
alternative.
Yes. So, Artisan Grange.
Artisan Grange.
We appreciate y'all supporting the podcast. Click the link in the description below and pick yourself some Artisan Grange up.
It's so funny because I've been training a very specific way for a very specific style of arm wrestling since the injury. I have yet to be able to execute that in a match because the first match back, well, the second match had one, and then the second one was on the big stage. Okay, so a little emotional for a second. Big time mama's boy, right? So my mother passed October 20th of last year.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hardest thing I've ever been through in my life. And really came down to the fact that my entire life, redneck from Arkansas, I always was taught that, God's coming back, the rapture's going to happen. So I never let myself believe that I'd ever be on earth without my mom. I just thought we'd go together.
Sure.
So when it happened, it wasn't a rowdy I was prepared to face, right? So it was very devastating to the point to where I still have, claustrophobia and different things I've never dealt with in my life that I'm still trying to get through. Ketamine basically saved my life. I went through ketamine treatment, and that's the other thing. These matches that I'm about to have in my second session of ketamine, I actually, while I'm out, I talked through every match I'm going to have this year. Like, I've already seen it happen. And my wife was freaking out. Like, we actually talked about that the other day on live that I actually went through all this and did it. I say all that to say the match that I had, the international match I had in Istanbul, within 2 hours before my match, it clicks to me that it was 6 months from the day that my mother passed. I didn't even think about it, And so, full of emotions, I had a very good game plan, and on ready to go, we hit as hard as I could, we slipped, and the game plan completely went out the window because I was so overwhelmed with emotion. So I didn't compete the way I needed to compete, as in what I had trained to do.
Sure.
But I ended up having the match that I needed to have because it was a 100% I should not have won that match. He had everything. We could pull it up, and you guys will see this. It's horrible. Like, there's 99.9% of the arm wrestlers in the world, had they been in the position I was in, would have lost. But I knew my mom was watching, right? So it was a dog fight that I needed to have. I needed to prove that I could win that fight, right? So it was a huge, huge moment for me, very emotional. But so I've said all to say I've been training a specific style, and I haven't even got to use it because my next guy was a bent wrist presser, which is just like this guy I'm about to face. Well, once I had the arm fixed, my arm wouldn't come closer than this for the last 15 years, and now it comes all the way to here. So I have this range of motion where if you're coming towards me to press me, I can actually meet you in the center table now. Used to, it took me forever to get there, so they'd be on top of me.
Gotcha.
But I had to be out here catching them. So this guy's a bent wrist presser. I'm like, I'm going to meet him in the center table, see who's got the stronger press, right? And the worst thing that can happen is my arm comes apart.
Yeah, that's just
I'm just saying it. I just went through it, right? Like, there's nothing that can happen on the table that I haven't already been through.
Sure.
So
I've also had one vasectomy. I don't want two.
that is very sound in theory.
I don't want certain things that
That's good
happen
logic,
twice.
but
Why?
My
Why just sit over there? Well, you just sat over there.
I don't want my arm blown out twice, man.
But to me,
Just certain things you don't want to go through twice.
there are certain things I'm sure you don't want to go through twice. But the point there's no fear. Like, it's just arm wrestling. Like, what's going to happen? You're going to lose. I mean, you're going to get injured. I'm still going to get up tomorrow. I'm going to have a wife that loves me, grandbabies that love me. So it's going to be great either way. So it's just meet this dude in the center table. And I was very successful, crushed the guy, 160. Well, this new guy, this next opponent, who wasn't supposed to be, like the opponent I was supposed to have for the heavyweight world title was going to be the technique I've been training for the last year and a half, right? Oh, wow. So everything that I've been trained to do, I was going to get to do against this guy.
Right.
And then it gets flipped, and I'm back pulling this guy who's coming towards me. So, because the other guy was going away from me, and I was going to try to bring him to me. Well, this guy, everything that I've been training for, he's going to give me. So if you're trying to take someone's hand and they're going to give you their hand, everything that you're trying to do doesn't matter because they're just trying to throw their body on top of your arm.
Right.
So I can still win that way. It just, the last time I had a match like that, it was 7 minutes long. So you really don't want
7 minutes.
Yeah, you don't want a 7-minute match, especially when it's best of 5. You know what I mean? Like, you got to do that multiple times. So if I have a faster lane, which would basically be test your frame, go straight at him, either I flash him or something snaps. So we'll find out in 26 days.
26 days, we're going to know it all.
Yeah.
What? How much time between matches? So you do
1
best
minute.
of,
Yeah.
well, you got 1 minute.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. And you go 7 minutes.
So, like, what's the longest match you've done, though? Like,
I've had a 10-minute match before, but the longest WL match, World Arm Wrestling League, which I'm the super heavyweight champ of the world for that league, was against Jerry Cataretta. It was 7-minute match. And then it was a foul, so we had to do it again.
7 minutes, and it was man.
He had a running foul, so once we had to do it again. But I mean, most matches don't last that long. I'm just the guy who has long matches.
Me too.
There you go.
Some
Some
of mine I use it. People go to sleep on, but that's it.
it's usually your entrance, though.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
longer
that'd be
than the match.
He's starting to wrestle now. Wake up.
Yes.
But, all right. So I'm just curious because now I'm like strategizing in my brain for you. Like, so no one has this scouting report on you now, right? Or really, do they?
Not
that
really.
You have this range of motion.
They know I have it. So here's what's funny. So this is hysterical because this is what you would think. They think, oh my God, Michael's shoulder press is amazing. He's so awesome, right? Well, that's not what they're saying. They're like, why didn't my last opponent's name was Lars Robikin. He's from Norway. Freakish, jacked, crazy athlete guy.
Anybody named Lars
has to be an awesome guy, right?
I don't wanna
crazy
find a guy
pressing
named Lars.
dude, and they're like, I don't know why Lars didn't press. I'm like, he tried to press. I outpressed him, but I'm not getting credit for outpressing him because they're thinking he didn't try to press because I was so fast, right? And so here I was thinking I was going to get all these pats on the back because I had this new range of motion and life was great, and then it just didn't happen that way. So for some reason, people just love to hate that. Because a lot of it was. It came down to originally when I beat Devin Larratt for the WAL. Devin was the most popular arm wrestler in the world.
Right.
So when I beat him, I must have cheated. Something's wrong. So I became the villain all of a sudden. And I'd never been in that position in my career. And he had such a large following and this troll type following that they just viciously attacked me. And then once you hear something enough times, people just start
believing it.
Yeah. And that's just kind of what I've dealt with for the last, I guess, 6 years or so. But yeah, so it's no big deal. It's just the fact that where I used to be the guy that people cheered for and loved, I kind of became the guy that people hated and loved to see lose. Right. But, it's all coming back around.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love a good comeback story, right?
Everybody loves a good comeback story. But in my business, like, there's two things you either want. You either want people to love you,
right,
or you want them to hate you. So you just gotta go with whatever. Just whatever puts asses in seats or eyes on the product.
It's when you walk.
You have to embrace your.
If you walk out that curtain and you don't hear anything.
Yeah, when you hear crickets, you might as well just turn back around and go back in because. Well, so Devin, he's quite the character.
Very charismatic individual. The thing is, Devin has had. If you know Devin's story, you can't help but respect him. 20+ years Canadian Special Forces. I mean, he's been through it all, right? So he has the mental, probably the best mental approach to the sport. Because for him, his mental warfare is equally as dangerous or more dangerous than what he can do on the table.
A lot of people are beat before they even.
And he will get in your head and he'll attack you and he'll do everything, right? So it's not the part of the sport that I necessarily love, because I grew up in this thing and it was just this big family reunion, get together arm wrestling.
Sure.
But just like you said, I mean, a lot of it's done just for show. A lot of it's done just to hype the match or whatever. Because you'll see him be very respectful to people afterwards. It's just, he has a very good character that
he's kind of a Conor McGregor of arm wrestling.
He is kind of become. So there was a guy before that, Travis Bagent. Travis Bagent used to go, because we used to travel to go to tournaments around, and you'd want to go to a tournament just to see what Travis was going to say next because it was hysterical. Like the guys, and he's trying to make a comeback. He just went to East versus West in Istanbul, and we didn't know, right? Because you don't know what the level is. He's been out for like 7 years or so, and he's been overall number one in the world before, so he's a bad dude. He came back and had he's like, I've been training, I'm good. And then he just got ran over by this Sergei Kalanchenko, this guy from Ukraine, who's not even probably, he might be top 15 in the world.
Right.
Good guy. Badass dude. But you didn't expect, and he just got ran over. So the cool thing was, it didn't affect Travis to the point where okay, I'm out. He's like, oh, I just got more work to do. So that's what we're hoping, because Travis is one of those people that you want in the sport. If you're wanting arm wrestling to grow, you want a Travis Bagent, you want a Devin Larry, you want a Michael Todd, so some people could love him, some people could hate him. You don't want those characters, right? Because that's what you need to grow the sport. And I believe we're on the verge of arm wrestling potentially being much more of a household sport, because everyone's done it.
Sure, yeah.
You just have to find someone you want to cheer for, just like anything else, whether it's wrestling, whether it's traditional sport, whether it's football, whatever. You want to have your team you cheer for, your wrestling. You just
your good
have,
guys, your bad guys.
Yeah.
But
gotta have a baby face, gotta have a heel.
When you can get personally invested in an athlete, then
Absolutely.
It becomes
Well, and that's what I think happened to UFC. I've been following UFC since the very first one, because I was a martial artist as a kid. But it was The Ultimate Fighter, and it's Forrest Griffin, Stephan Bonner that sold UFC to the world, because you got invested in these guys who left it all on the table. And the house, you got to meet the characters. It's going to take a promotion who is willing to not make a lot of money out the gate to develop characters so that you can introduce the world to the sport that we love so much.
Yeah, that's.
Was arm wrestling a thing in the locker room for you guys? Was there guys that were?
There was a few, but not. No, they just usually fought. They just
Straight up fight.
Yeah, it was usually over. Something stupid going on. You'd have your few guys that start talking trash and.
Because I feel like you said, everybody's done it, right? Whether it's in high school, doing it on the lunchroom table or whatever. And I feel like everybody at some point in their life is at a bar or whatever.
Of course, right.
Try to lock up and arm wrestle.
I do remember I was in WCW at the time, and I ended up I was in some bar, and this dude, it was freaky. And I'm sure you've seen this body type, right? This guy he was fit, but he had one arm that was just, and he was an arm, he was an arm wrestler. He had it was his right arm that was just, you could tell, he had the big bone pronounced out on his elbow, and it was just, it didn't fit the body.
Yeah.
And, and I'm just in there to have a good time. And, he goes, he's talking trash. And I'm not an arm wrestler. And he, come on, and I'm like, why? So you can impress this girl? I said, I tell you what, let's just go out in the lot and we'll just figure it out there. No, I'm not trying to. I'm like, well, I don't feel like arm wrestling, so leave me alone.
Let's sit here and have a drink if you want, but we don't have to.
But it was crazy. This dude, had an arm that, it was donated to him. It was freakishly.
Skittles commercial, right?
Yeah, it was freakishly big, and I was just like, man, I don't want none of that.
Yeah. I always felt like that was the test of who was the strongest guy or whatever.
Oh, right.
In high school, right?
Yeah.
If you were arm wrestling, and then when you actually find out the actual technique of arm wrestling, you could take a guy my size and can,
Without a doubt, so that's the thing.
See, without a doubt,
people are like this. They're like, arm wrestling is just all technique. I'm like, nah, technique's very important. If you have a twin brother and I teach you technique and don't teach him, you're going to kill him.
Yeah.
But once you become a world class arm wrestler, we all know the technique. It comes down to who's stronger, right? My stepson's a 7-time national champion. but he's only 180 pounds. He can't come close to beating me, but he knows everything about arm wrestling I do. He's just not as strong as me.
Sure.
So at the core, it's a strength sport, right? And that's what Levon has showed. Like he is, we all know how to arm wrestle. He's just stronger than the rest of us. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it makes the, just like Devin, he went after Levon, the mountain adverse of the sport, right? There's something to be said for that journey, that attempt, because it hasn't been done. So why not?
Yeah.
Why not try? Right.
Right.
So,
why not? You might be the one. You might be the one that
never
takes
know,
that
right?
guy off the.
Yeah, could be the Brock Lesnar of arm wrestling.
There you go.
Yep. And
You just have to throw something wrestling in. Don't you?
I mean, just
dip it in. Just dip it in every once in a while. I could care less.
Brock was the first to knock you off the pedestal.
See
So, I
how
mean,
he did that?
He's just so hate. He just.
I'm just trying to make it relatable.
I think it's the sandals.
Yeah.
It's just making it relatable. That's all it was, making it relatable for the audience.
I apologize.
So what's next for you? I mean, like you've Hall of Fame. I mean, you just had.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
you got it
I don't
all
know.
right. So I mean,
Probably a lot more time at home coming up. No, man.
Quitting his current job.
quitting my current job because
Top of the top of the list.
is that I've been trying for weeks to figure out a way out, and every time I do, Matt pulls me right back. It's like the Godfather, you know. It's like every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in.
Got this really cool person that wants to come on and sit down and talk to you. Well, I guess I got to show up for that.
Oh man, yeah. I've been gone for what, a couple weeks now.
Yeah.
traveling. You said, yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome, by the way. That's so cool. I had no idea there was that big of a sport, that it was growing that well. So that's super cool.
Yeah, man. It's girls flag football, brother. Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah.
Fastest growing sport for women in the U.S., but it's kicking my butt because I ain't used to traveling like that anymore.
Right.
Yeah. The road, man.
It's like every weekend we're out, but yeah, it's fun, and she's enjoying. And it's crazy. Like I get more nervous like watching her than I ever did for anything that I did in the ring. It's just yeah. When you're playing, like, oh man, these girls are gonna kill them.
It's fun to see though. Like it's
No,
fun.
no, it is. It is fun and having that time. But man, I you know, it is getting to talk to guys like you and learning things that I don't know. Right? I mean, obviously I've watched a lot of arm wrestling. You know that like ESPN and all them carry, but to actually get the nuts and bolts of it, man, it's pretty interesting, and the fact that there is so much technique and I mean as a novice to anything like mixed martial arts or anything, you know, I study it in the sense of when I watch it, like try to figure things out on my own, like you know what someone like if for trying to do something with some jiu-jitsu, I'm trying to figure out where they're going with it, you know, and it's the same thing with arm wrestling, because you know you'll see a lot of times, obviously someone will get in and they'll have the shoulder in over, and then there's other times where you're leaning way back and you're pulling, and it's just like, you know, in my head I'm trying to figure it, like, why is he doing this then? And then there's this other technique where, you know, it's really interesting.
I mean, just like you said, watching, you know, mixed martial arts or jiu-jitsu or anything else, and watching and trying to figure out what's going on. The mechanics behind it makes sense. And we have a table, so I mean, I can show you some techniques and you can beat all your buddies if you want, but just the fundamentals of how to do it, once you learn it, once you feel the pressure. I mean, it's super easy to teach someone how to arm wrestle correctly.
Right.
Once you can let them feel the pressure, you know, the application of pressure, and let them feel where it's going and how the attacks happen. It's pretty easy to learn how to do. It's just perfecting it. It takes time.
Yeah. Well, we'll take a break here in a second and go over to the table. I mean, obviously it's got to be probably one of the most important aspects of it, because you see guys, it takes so long to get locked up. Or what is that called? The grip.
It's the setup to get your grip. I am not one of those guys. So I'm one of the ones who just, put our hands together, duct tape me to the guy, and somebody say go. There's to the sport of arm wrestling now, and it's a lot of credit to Travis Bajan, the guy I mentioned, and Devin. They have perfected the setup to where I've seen so many new arm wrestlers spend more time training their setup than getting strong. I'm like, guys, I mean, if you don't get a good, I would rather train to have the worst possible setup so I'm prepared for worst case scenario.
Right.
Which doesn't necessarily bode well if you're going against somebody who's been training for the perfect setup and you're getting the crap setup, right?
Sure.
Because there's a lot of matches I've had where my opponent had everything in the setup and I was too naive to know it, and I still would just fight my ass off to win, which would have been a lot easier had I been more combative in the setup and not just giving everything. So I'm trying to get a little bit better at that, because once at this level of sport, when everybody is equally as strong,
right,
the different angle and tiny little bit here, tiny little bit there, it can change the outcome of the match.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, like I said, I was naive to that, to where I thought just grab a hold of the guy, get a good tight strap, and I'm gonna crack your wrist back. So a lot more time's being spent on setup, complaining to the ref, distracting the ref.
Is that some mind games as well too?
Like
that's part of the mental.
Right, like you're sitting there and you're climbing in your setup and you're telling the ref that he's doing it, and you're just say go, just say whatever it is that you're doing. You're taking the ref out of focusing on his job, and you may be this tiny little millimeter of height you just got on your top knuckle that just gave you the leverage you needed to bust him on go, right? So it's crazy that exists. But it's part of the sport now. Like it's not something that, like John Brzezinski, greatest arm wrestler of all time, Guinness Book World Record, most successful arm wrestler. He and I, you just grab your hand, boom. That's just how I've always arm wrestled, right? And now you can't be so nice. Like you have to be more combative when it comes to the
grip. And,
you have to
set up.
Right.
I think that, obviously that comes too with age, right? I mean, as we get older, we have to figure out every little.
This is true to stay competitive, especially, right? Because the one thing about arm wrestling that's crazy is, like I said, I'm 51 years old. I've been doing this 34 years. I truly don't think I've reached my peak yet. And arm wrestling is a sport where you don't have to be young to be great. The best arm wrestlers we have in North America are all mid 40s up. Like Todd Hutchins, I think, is 58 or something. And he is a phenom in the 105 division.
That's crazy.
105
kgs.
Okay, I was about to say, Jesus.
231 pounds, right?
Grown man
But
you were getting excited there. You thought you had an opportunity to.
You got a chance.
I got a chance. This could be my next thing.
See, it's so funny because I normally say pounds, but because we deal with kgs so much because of all the European athletes, that you just get used to saying kgs now. But yeah, so age is just a number, and I truly think your tendons and ligaments, your hand strength, those things don't go. Mm-hmm. And they don't. I mean, if you're strong in your hand, you're strong in your tendons and your ligaments, you can arm wrestle. And to me, there's no such thing as a retired arm wrestler. It's just you love it and you arm wrestle till you're dead, probably. Just what level you choose.
What level you choose to compete at.
Are you still going to pursue overall, or because there's still the IFA worlds, the WAF worlds, the nationals and stuff. You can go compete at, and there's age divisions. Like you can go win your 15 over class and then go represent your country at the world championships in 15 over. I mean, there's a lot of things you can still do. So let's say you don't want to be and pursue what I'm doing right now, but you still want to be active in arm wrestling. There's a tournament somewhere in the United States every weekend.
Right.
There's 14 over classes, 15 over classes. Everything's divided by weight classes. So and the thing about arm wrestling that's especially the sport that's so much fun is you'll find people who were good at arm wrestling as kids, but they were doing other sports or whatever, and they didn't find out arm wrestling was a sport, and they're in their 30s or something. And it's a way for them to stay active and stay fit. And you'll see people get healthy because they found arm wrestling, because they kind of let their body go. They got out of shape. Like, damn, I'm too heavy to be arm wrestling this division. I need to lose some fat,
Yeah.
And then you see them getting super leaned out, and then now they're healthier and they have something that drives them every day, and it's a fun sport.
Yeah.
How long do you think you're going to go in the sense of like competing at the level that you're competing right now?
So Rebecca and I were talking about this last night. Rebecca's my wife, by the way. So,
yeah, no, I got you.
I figured some random Rebecca, but
who's also a 7-time national champion.
7-time national champion. Well, she retired. She was someone who just genetically gifted. I said, hey, do this. So she entered the state championship. Got herself out of the hospital against doctor's advice because I needed help holding the state championship, and we go to the event. I'm like, hey, I threw you in the division. She goes, what are you talking about? These are like national champion girls and stuff. I'm like, yeah, don't worry about it. She lost her first match. And I'm like, okay, you did that wrong. You got to do this. And she came back and won the state championship. And then she won it every year for like 10 years. But then she went on to win. So it's kind of cool. Me, her, and my stepson all went to the national championship and all won the national championship together.
That's
wow.
And we did that several years in a row.
That's a fun trip home
Yeah,
right
it's a
there,
fun-
man.
Yeah,
it is a lot of fun. Like especially seeing the joy in my stepson's eyes and hers, and just having that family, experience. It's cool. What we talking about, Rebecca? Talking
How
about
long?
last night.
How
Oh, yeah.
long are you going to be doing
Yeah,
this
so,
for?
This is our show. This is
Just
how
do
we
however
do.
you want it.
This
We're
is
all
how
over
we
the
do.
place.
We derail. We may not come back to that. So
CTE's real, brother.
That's funny. Okay, so
Rebecca,
yeah, Rebecca. So right now in my mind, I pulled Camille Jablonski August 10th, so 26 days. After I win that match, my next match will be in 12 weeks in Istanbul, Turkey. That's most likely Georgi Svekov. He's a Bulgarian, super strong athlete. Like just, they say his hand and wrist are top rollable, which is what I'm going to try to do. And then 6 weeks later, I'll pull King of the Table in North America, their North American debut, probably in Las Vegas. After that, I will probably have one more match that I'll have to get the shot at Levon. So that means the Levon match, if I'm successful in this comeback, would probably be August of September of next year. And I just jokingly told Rebecca, after I do the impossible, I retire.
dude, yeah, you take
You know,
your flowers and ride
just
off
right.
into the sunset.
And you want to do that, right? You want to just like,
Brother, you're preaching to the choir right now, brother. You are preaching to the choir.
there's something about that competitive drive that's like, I'm not done, And even if and when I do what I believe most of the world's going to think is impossible, I don't know. So my honest response is I'll never quit. I'll never quit pursuing to be the best version of me possible. But realistically, the amount of effort and it's going to take and sacrifice it's going to take to achieve that level is going to be a lot.
Yeah, but that's just one of those things though that get you up in the morning.
It is,
and
man.
drives you.
It is crazy how, especially we're aging athletes, right? So,
brothers, one of us more than the other.
but it's so crazy that you can still have that same drive and hunger that you had when you were a kid.
Yeah,
Because I don't know, it's just weird, man. I still want it just as bad now as I've ever wanted it.
that's awesome, though. Yeah, and it's especially for as much as you've achieved in your career to still have that kind of drive is.
I'm telling you, it's because it was taken. Because I'm telling you, the last 5 or 10 years, I talked to Rebecca. I'm like, hey, I think I might just ease myself out. I'm one of those crazy, weird people who just like training. I'm like, maybe I should go do a triathlon. Just
Right.
stupid stuff, right? Like I don't want to run. I don't want to do any of that stuff. But I like the challenge.
Sure.
I like to present myself with a challenge and try it. Right. I want to go do a mock run of the Ninja Warrior course. See if I can. I'm an idiot. But in the last 5 or 10 years, I thought about, just backing out, getting out of it, maybe doing a little bit of this, a little of that, whatever. And then once this injury happened the way it did, I just knew I wasn't done yet. So now it's like,
there was an ember in there, and then somebody just put some air on it, and it caught up on it. Caught on
it's
fire
on fire
again.
now for sure.
Have you ever experienced that where you had an injury, you went home, you're sitting at home, you're watching the product on TV, and it
Just about every one of them,
reignited you?
except at the very end, like not someone, but my injuries, like through the heart of my career, it's just like. It's probably doing you mentally. It's good that you get a break, but man, when you're watching somebody else in your spot and having your time and everything else, it drives you absolutely crazy.
It does.
And it speeds up. I mean, it makes you want to rehab twice as hard and get back twice as fast because, one for us because we were on the go so much. Like your body is used to all that, the travel, the excitement of all of it, and then you're home doing absolutely nothing. And if you had surgery to repair something,
Right.
now you're sitting there. Other than when you go to rehab, you're just sitting there, and then it's just like your internal clock is saying you should be doing this and you should be doing this, and then you're just sitting there, and it's like, oh, okay. and you can't, you got kids, you can't play with your kid, you can't do anything depending on whatever the injury might be.
Right.
And it's just like your mind is playing the absolute worst tricks on you that you can imagine. It's like, oh, you're not going to get your spot back. You're going to, this guy's going to come up, and you're just
especially if you go like a week or two without actually talking to maybe the guys in the office or something like that.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah.
have they just moved on from me? Am I not gonna? Yeah.
Right. And back then, without cell phones and everything
Yeah.
else, like you're sitting in there waiting on the wall phone to ring, and this is like, oh crap, man, what's going on?
Yeah.
That happened to me. It was funny enough. Like I got hurt. I think I had separated my shoulder or something. I had to, anyway, it busted a chip off in my shoulder, and I had to have that chip taken out. And I rehabbed like crazy. I was healthy, I was healthy pretty quick, and I was like, hey, I'm ready to come back to work. No, go ahead. Take a couple more weeks off. Everything's fine. And I'm like, no, I'm ready. I'm good. We didn't have the same protocols that we have now, like where you got to clear. I was like, hey, I'm ready to come back to work. Okay, come back to work. So I'm ready probably 4 or 5 weeks before what they expected me to be ready. And I'm like, let's go. No, stay at home. Now you're like,
That's got to feel horrible.
oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's like,
the anticipation and wonder.
yeah. But the way, our business works is that they have it on the, they have it on the calendar. Okay,
Right.
we're going to bring this guy into the fold, and then, he's going to work with this guy. So it would screw up sometimes where they were at in the in the planning of everything. But I remember I was like, crap, man. Like, all right, well, so this was the time that I'll make sure I have it right. I think it was Evander Holyfield was going to fight Riddick Bowe. This is the Fan Man thing.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, it may not have been that fight. It may have been the one before that. But anyway, so I call Bear, and I get tickets to this fight. Like, I'm third row ringside, and like I said, I call Bear. I'm hooked up with a hotel out there. I'm all set, right? I'm like, well, crap, I'm going to Vegas, and I'm gonna have a good time. The day before I'm leaving for Vegas, they call me. Vince calls me. He goes, had a falling out with Warrior. I need you in Redding, California tomorrow. Redding, California. It's non-televised. It's a live event. It's sold out. I was like, really? He goes, yeah. The Redding High School. There were 1,500 people there. I was supposed to be on a plane going to watch Riddick Bowe and Evander Holyfield fight, and I'm 100 miles north of San Francisco in a high school gym, like thinking, like, God Almighty, what the?
Watch what you ask for.
Yeah, careful what you ask
go,
for. So
you
yeah, I learned that, to make the most of those times off. But I do understand what you're talking about, though, and
Right.
especially if you're a competitor and that's what drives you.
You don't realize it, and because it's just a part of you, right? It's just part of your personality. It's part of who you are, but you don't realize how important it is until you can't do it.
Yeah.
You're like, gosh, that is important to me.
Yeah, it is.
And,
Yeah.
and I'm not quite done yet. I think I still want to do more. And it's just one of those things. I mean, it's the moment once you stop trying to be a better version of you, like, I mean, what's the point? I'm just going to keep striving to be better and keep do more. I mean, and that's kind of the point with the whole super heavyweight thing. Because if I try to stay heavyweight, I'm only going to get so good. I'm only going to get so strong. And I'm not saying it's going to be significantly stronger as a super heavyweight than I would be at a heavyweight, but it will be stronger. So if the best me is what I'm trying to do, I got to go to that open weight category. Yep.
Well, man, hey, let's take a break and then let's get some lessons, man.
All right.
Well, let's see what I can
I mean, you were third place in state at what? The 85
Cotton candy. I thought,
85
that was a
pound
cotton candy.
No,
Cotton
you were
candy
you're
eating.
third place.
I was
South Carolina amateur.
I was ranked fifth in the
Ranked fifth.
state of South Carolina high school wrestling 145. Come to find out, there's only 4 wrestlers when I showed up. So I was ranked
You
fifth.
came in fifth.
I came in fifth. So,
Did you get your ribs broke?
dude, okay.
Give me that. This is a good story. He'll appreciate this.
Yeah, he'll appreciate this
The
one.
injury and the sacrifice
Of
that
course.
you.
So, I'm freshman year of high school, 9th grade. I don't know how old you are, like 14, right?
Yeah,
So I went and wrestled a guy named Charles Russ. You look up Charles Russ. He ended up.
remembers.
He ended up. Oh, I remember his name.
had a big
I won't
impact
ever
on
forget his name. And he went on to go wrestle at West Point. And
That's actually impressive.
yeah, and he went to wrestle at West Point. He was a senior when Tyler, the owner of Nightline, was at West Point. And Tyler, one of his intramurals at West Point was wrestling. So he knew Charles Russ. And he's like, yeah, man, Charles was good. I was like, yeah, Charles went to Wade Hampton High School. And I go to the Upper State Regional Finals. I have won my first match, I think, or something. I am getting ready. We're in this little hallway about to walk out to the mat. Coach Miller is sitting there, and he's like, who did you draw? And I was like, Charles Russ. He goes, all right, I'll see you in a minute. That's exactly what he said. And I was that quick. And I didn't catch it, right? I was like, okay. So we walk out, and Coach Miller would always put the band on my, on the wrestler's ankle, and would give you just a little bit of words of encouragement or something. Puts that on there, and I was like, you got anything for me? He goes, nope. Just like that. Unbeknownst to me, I have no idea who Charles Russ is. I have no idea what this guy's capable of doing. This is pre, internet, looking up guys or whatever. I go out there. He hip tosses me, beats me in 15 seconds.
There you go.
Yeah. I get up. He shakes my hand, puts his arm around me, and I was like, and I'm just stunned. I'm just standing there like, what just happened? And he's like, man, don't worry about it. He's like, you're going to be fine. I'm a senior and all this stuff. He's like being nice.
Right.
Kind of find out he's never lost. He was completely he was undefeated. Which being undefeated in South Carolina is not like the greatest thing in the world. It's not like being undefeated in Ohio or Iowa or something. But he was undefeated. Went on to be go to West Point. That I wrestled again, or maybe that was my last match of that day. We go out to eat that night with the team, right? And we're eating at an Applebee's or something.
This is the tea thing, right?
Yes. And I am hurting at this point. My adrenaline has gone away, and my side is killing me. And I was like, I'm sitting at a table, and Coach Miller is sitting at the table right on the other side of the booth there. My friends are sitting in front of me. He's sitting on the other side with his back to me. I said, Coach Miller, I was like, there's something wrong with my side, sir. I said, I don't know if I broke something, tore something. He just turned around and said, it's all that sweet tea you drinking, son. You need to slow down on that stuff. That's why your side hurts. And I was like, oh, okay. And I'm just like, I don't think it's the sweet tea. I was like, my side's never hurt. I drink a lot of sweet tea. I was like, I don't know about that. So we eat. Next day, I go out and I wrestle a guy that I should beat. And man, I couldn't breathe. And I was like, it hurt to do anything. And it was on my left side. I mean, just to turn. I mean, I don't know if you've broken a rib, but that is miserable,
Sounds pretty
And
bad.
I'm trying to do stuff. And we go 3 rounds. It's a decision that he wins. I should have beat this guy easily. Actually, I had a match before that I did beat the guy really easy. I'd beaten him multiple times. This guy should have beats me, and I'm like, God, what is wrong? I go home. My mom, because my dad's like, Coach Miller's right. You probably drinking you probably drinking too much sweet tea. My mom was like, I think we need to take him to the doctor. Man, I couldn't roll over or nothing. I go to the doctor and said, yeah, you got 2 broken ribs.
Oh, my God. So you did beat one guy with 2 broken ribs.
I did. I beat one guy, which I could have beat that guy with 2 broken legs.
That's the story right there.
Yeah.
We can
I can't believe I haven't heard that more often, actually.
Well, it's kind of embarrassing because that
it
guy...
was the state finals. I was ranked 5th. I had 2 broken ribs.
Beat
I
the guy.
whooped him.
You
I
can
whooped
definitely
him.
improve that story the way you tell it.
Well,
you can really come off as a
I try to
badass.
be
You know what I'm saying?
honest. I try to be honest. That guy I could have broke with 2 legs. I could have beat with 2 broken legs, much like 2 broken ribs. But before we take our break, real quick, before we take a break and move on to the arm wrestling, I don't even know if he knows about this. You've got some experience with pro wrestling, correct?
Well, so I got to meet Braun Strowman in what was it? The Olympia in 2021,
Yeah.
probably. So then we met up again at the 9-line thing, and he was wanting to do some stuff with me. Like while he was away from WWE,
Right.
He was at his own promotion. So I went and did the thing. What was the name of that?
It was CYN. It was in Dallas during your.
So
that was the.
I did a little skit there.
that backroom place.
Yeah, I did a little skit there where arm wrestle did on thing, threw him a clothesline, had a good time, and then I did another thing in Nashville, which was a similar experience. It was fun, man, because I grew up watching you guys.
Right.
I grew up Mid-South wrestling, like Junkyard Dog, all that stuff. Like that back
Bill
in the day.
Watts.
Yeah, back in the day, man. If you would have said wrestling was fake, we was fighting. Like, that was. Like, nuh-uh.
Yeah.
So I've been watching this stuff since I was a kid. So yeah, I always thought, like, I want to tell you one thing. So this might have been a BS deal, but there was a guy who actually did the Over the Top movie. So he was the guy that did product placement. And this guy it's crazy. You'll see all kinds of different things going on, and somehow he's there, right? This guy's always connected. And so from 2011 to 2014, I never lost a single round. I arm wrestled every best of 3, best of 6, whatever. I never lost a single round. So during that time, I was arguably the number one guy, and he asked me to be at, I think he said WrestleMania or something. So it's probably SummerSlam, something like that. SummerSlam, and was it the Big Show or something? They wanted me to arm wrestle somebody,
Probably
beat him,
Big Show.
then let him beat me, and then the final one was supposed to be for real, and I was going to be a big payday, right? Big payday for me.
It would have been a
Way
big
different
payday,
than wrestling. Big payday for me. And I'm like, no. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm not going to let just some random dude beat me in arm wrestling. I don't care. I mean, like, I'm a professional athlete. No. So out of my own ego, arrogance, I probably cost myself like this huge opportunity because, now whether it was real or not, whether it's really going to happen, like now I'll lose anybody. I don't care. But then, because I hadn't lost a match, hadn't been pinned in over 3 years. I wasn't just going to let somebody pin me.
No, it's a tough call. That's yeah.
Well, there's a lot of arm wrestlers who arm wrestle pro football players or whatever, and they think that because they're trying to get arm wrestling more mainstream, and they'll just take the loss. I'm like, dude, you're making us look like chumps. Some football players, great, he's an awesome football player, but that doesn't mean you can beat a professional arm wrestler.
Yep.
And once it's on the internet, it's there forever.
It's there.
You know what I'm saying? So, but in retrospect, I probably should have taken the loss.
I don't know,
You know
man.
what
I'm a firm believer in people don't think of the long game long enough, right? You know, like I protected this business for years without saying anything, you know, behind the curtain, or coming out of character, you know, and it just, you know, sometimes you gotta go with your instincts, and it's one payday, but.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been cool. Like, it would have been cool. Just
it would
be
have been a fun
involved, you know?
experience.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. So one of the we're going to take a break in a second. So one of the cool things that I did get to do. So I was a WAL champ, World Arm Wrestling. I won in 17, won in 18, and I won in 19. And in 19, I had defended my title versus Dave Chafee, who was one of the best ever, right? And so, but they'd already set my next match up. So it was a June match. They set my July match up in Los Angeles. Well, when I beat Dave so bad, so they've already told me my appearance fee, my travel money, all my stuff. Like, once I beat Dave, they're like, yeah, we're pulling you from that match. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, well, you're going to kill him because you're too strong. I'm like, but what about my payday? Like, I'm supposed to get paid next month, right? So
that ain't your problem.
It absolutely was not. They didn't see it that way for some reason. So apparently my contract didn't read right. But they wanted me to come out and do like a guest appearance and sign autographs and stuff. So I say that to say I get out there, and normally I'd be in my room, getting my head right for the match and everything. Well, it just so happens Kenny Johnson, who was on SWAT, actor Kenny Johnson, he's on SWAT, he was on Sons of Anarchy, a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So he's out there. He's a world amateur arm wrestling champion.
Really?
Yeah, he won the Brenna Park World Amateur Championship. So he's actually a really good arm wrestler. He beats everybody on the set all the time. Well, I knew him through that, and he's like, hey, come on out the set and introduce you to the cast, all that stuff. So instead of being in my room that day, we go out to the set of SWAT, and I get to meet everybody, super awesome, Shamar Moore, everybody's there. Well, while I'm sitting there, after he introduced me to the cast, he introduced me to like the producers, director, whatever, and they're like, is this Zuma? And I don't really understand what's going on. Apparently Zuma is the guy in next week's episode that they've casted, and I'm like, oh. And Rebecca's like, say you're Zuma. So
tell him you're Zuma.
Yeah, be Zuma. So, and we're going from there to Vegas to celebrate our anniversary. And Rebecca's like, heck with that. They want you on the set. So basically, I end up paying a penalty because they already hired the guy for the cast, but they wanted me. So instead of arm wrestling that weekend, I go to Vegas, come back the next week, and I work 3 days on set as Zuma, and I actually end up making more money as a paid actor than I did for my match. So I got to be on the set.
See
as
there?
well. I mean, it's episode 3, season 2, Bad Faith. I'm a cult member.
You're a cult member.
Like, I pour gasoline
What the
on
hell
folks and
kind of
everything.
cult? What the hell?
Y'all got a lot of
It's
comedy
funny.
here.
Yeah, we do have funny. Like, what the freaking hell kind of cult has guys big like this? It's
Most
so
of them
funny
don't.
because I was trying to explain, and what I was in when we were in LA. I don't know if y'all like you've been watching Shark Week at all.
No, not
But anyway,
really.
they're running these ads for they're doing a documentary on Jonestown.
Okay.
Guyana tragedy and
Oh,
all
yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah.
So it was on TV. I'm watching the news and Kaya's there with me and she's like, "Dad, what's a cult?"
Oh, man.
And I'm like, "Oh, dang it, I knew I should have turned this off, right?" So I'm trying to explain to her, like her mom's in there bathing, so this is just me and her, so I can't defer. I can't like. Can you talk to your mom about it? So I'm trying to explain what a cult is, and and then they're showing the aerial. You remember? I don't know if you remember it. The aerial view
Of all
when
the
all the
bodies just
bodies
laid
are.
out.
And
Now
she's
you're
like,
having to
and
explain
she's
that
asking
to
me
her.
like, "Are those clothes? Are I? Yeah, they're clothes, but there are bodies in them." You know? Michelle comes
that's a
out and
horrible
she's like,
conversation.
"Yeah, it was awful." like, yeah, but
Just not bedtime. Just don't go to bed. Like,
oh
watching
my
Jonestown.
yeah. But anyway, yeah, it was a muscle cult, I guess.
There you go.
Yeah, to have this guy, maybe like a bike. I can see you on Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
That's
but
a
I could,
role. I mean, I'm open for all that stuff. Like, put me in like either an ex special forces dude because there's always a bald bearded guy doing that, or like I could work the door in the thing. I could be the doorman.
you can definitely
always
be,
work
yeah.
the biker role. I got that. Like,
yeah, you could be, the guy that walks out with the fighters at UFC, that big bearded guy.
guy.
Yeah, that could be you. Like, and when I see him, I see you. All, like when I look at that guy, y'all look very much alike, and I'm like, I wonder what that guy's getting paid. He just walks the fighters
That's it.
from the curtain
He's a
to
fighter
the
walker.
ring or to the octagon, and he just makes sure nobody jumps out in the crowd to mess with him, right? And he's just a massive guy, and I'm like,
hysterical.
that can't be that bad of a job because how many people are going to jump that railing and try to?
It's like everyone's security at the boxing, except mine.
Maybe that's Michael's new job.
There you go.
So we go, it's his birthday.
All right.
There's a very famous thing on this podcast about the Vegas trip that Taker did where he did his One Dead Man show
All right.
last March. And it was a fun time. So
For who?
first 45 minutes of his show, very educational.
Okay.
But it went on for an hour and a half. First 45 minutes, great.
Great.
Yep. Then he decides to bring his best friend up on stage. Jack Daniels apparently sponsored the night, and yeah,
It went off the rails quick.
so it was pretty bad. Well, it was also his birthday,
Right.
So like the next day was like, I think it was the next day was your birthday, if I'm not mistaken.
No, that was my
That was your birthday. Was that
Yeah,
night?
yeah.
Okay, so the next day, he's like, "Hey man, I've got a handful of tickets to the boxing match, Plant versus Benavidez. Dude, that's awesome.
Right.
A couple of rows back from the ring." And Tyler and Rich from Nine Line were going to LA to meet with the people that produce all of our apparel. And I was like, hey, they were like, we're going to stop off in Vegas.
Right.
We'll just have a couple of days in Vegas before you guys go to LA. My brother and I go, and he's like, well, he goes, I've only got like 4 tickets. There's a total of 5 of us. Like, well, I'll just say you're security. And it's like, and Rich is like the odd man out here. Rich is like, all right, cool. I mean, all these guys, like, none of us are big, right? By any means, right? And so we show up and everything's cool. They don't care. Y'all going in. We're going through the back door anyway, whatever. You get out there though, and it's nothing but celebrities. And like in the green room area, all their like bodyguards are essentially either right outside the green room or they're lined up against the door, right against the wall, just like watching everything. And they're the size of the wall. And Rich is standing over there, and he's like my size, right? And then Floyd Mayweather shows up. He's got like 6 dudes. They all make you look
Right.
like
They're
me.
Massive.
Right?
Yeah, they're massive.
And he looks down. We're sitting out there. He looks down at us. And he's like, my security looks a little lacking compared to everyone else's. Right? And it's like, like you had these rappers where they had like guys all around them walking them through like,
Right.
and then this guy.
I remember somebody. The girl that was taking us around. She goes, "He's your security." I was like,
Is he like some special forces martial arts guy? What's going on here? You know?
He's former Delta.
Yeah, former Delta.
He's operator.
Yeah,
Of course he was.
It was absolutely.
And I don't even think they were like,
Even like there was some like B-list actors that had better security than Mark had.
B-list actors.
There was some B-list actors out there that
It
had
was
better
their
security.
dates.
Yeah, it was their friend that showed up with them was a better security person than us.
Well,
you
at
know?
least you had a good time, though, right?
Yeah, we had a great time. But
Fortunately, we didn't need security.
yeah, thankfully, yeah. The good thing is there's not too many. Have you ever had a run-in with a fan like trying to?
It's not so much like a run-in where they try to do anything. It's just that sometimes they get real persistent and.
Yeah, you just need that person to.
Yeah, just
say,
be
"No, we
the
gotta
heel,
go."
be the buffer.
Yeah,
Right.
And so.
we got to go type of thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I play that role sometimes, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm the right guy for the role, but
Well, you got to do what you got
But
to do.
he does. He usually wears his shirt that says, "I was fifth." No, fifth.
I was fifth.
rank.
I was fifth in South
One-
Carolina.
145 class.
I beat a man with 2 broken.
I beat a man on the back. It says I beat a man. I had 2 broken ribs.
There you go. I mean, you got to advertise that stuff.
You got to put it
let
out
people
there.
know what's up.
That's his
Yeah.
resume, man.
I don't think anyone is worried about. It's typically like that same weekend we were at he's at the Cosmo, and we wanted to go play some blackjack after the fight. We get 5 feet into the casino, and he just gets mobbed, and he's like, "Let's just go up to my room." Like, all right. Well, we walk. There's like the banks of elevators in this casino, so there's like 5 different banks, and we walk over to the wrong bank of elevators. And we walk over to that bank of elevators, and I mean, it's just a mop of people. And he literally is like, "Get me out of here." like, hey, we got a meeting we got to get to. It's 11:30 at night. We got a business meeting.
We got a
gotta
business
get to.
meeting.
It's a very important meeting.
It's like, we got a business meeting we got to get to. I'm sorry. He would love nothing more than take pictures, but we got to go. We got to go. Mark, come on, Mark. And he's sitting there going, "Guys, I'm sorry.
Man, I love
He's
this
the boss.
thing. It's my security.
Yeah, security's telling me we got to go." But it's
Good times.
Yeah, it's good times.
There you
But I
go.
mean, there's other roles out there for you.
There
Maybe
you go.
it's
Well, see, now-
being his security now.
There's life beyond arm wrestling, so now I know.
Yeah, no, you can. Yeah, you look a little bit more intimidating than I do. So I think you can probably get away with it better than I can.
That's good stuff.
Yeah,
Man.
you ready to get beat on the table?
Well, I
It's
just want to
lessons.
learn how to
It's
get beat.
teaching.
I
It's a
don't.
teaching moment.
Well, I mean, I think I can.
We can let him beat you. I didn't say let. I mean, like, we can watch him beat you. I didn't say let. I meant like
Yeah,
we can experience him beating you.
I will say, I think he's got a little bit more strength these days than I think people realize. Because when he
Well-
choke slammed The Rock,
Pretty impressive. So I'm going to ask this anyway. How big is The Rock? Because I feel like we're the same size. Because they say he's taller. He's not 6'5", is he?
No, I don't think so.
So is he?
No.
I don't know. Just something.
I mean, he's tall. He's 6'4". He's in that area. But
Yeah.
I think you're taller than.
Well, I
than he
mean,
is.
as long as I'm the same size, that's all that matters to me. You know what I'm saying? I just want to be the same size as The Rock. It's just, I don't know. I'm very impressed with his story. The
Yeah,
fact
no,
that
he
we're-
is.
I mean, that is a motivational, inspirational
Yeah.
dude right there. You know.
Yeah.
And there's only a handful of people that I really like. I think would be cool to meet. I mean, since I've already met you. But
he gets to come back.
apparently so. Yeah, he's.
But that's just one of them. That's
Yeah.
one dude that I'd like to meet just because he inspires me. You know?
Yeah, he's worked really hard.
His work ethic looks insane.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I mean, when you $7 production, I mean that just from starting at that point,
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
And
story by
it is so
itself, yeah.
funny because I've told like when he debuted in Madison Square Garden and he was Rocky Maivia. I was like, oh, this kid's done. I thought it's over. Yeah, especially in the Garden, right?
Right.
Where they will flat out just annihilate you right out of the get go, and sometimes you can't recover. And and he's coming out and he's got the little curly hair back then, and they're telling him to smile.
remember that look.
And yeah, and they're just booing the shit out of him, and I was like, oh, this kid ain't long. And it's a shame because he's a legacy too, right?
Yeah.
Little did I know. I guess I got that one wrong.
Yeah.
He really, I mean, he was always a student. Like, I mean, he was always like writing stuff down and asking questions and just, incredible work ethic.
Right.
And as great as his career is, what he did earlier this year might be one of his better performances in the sense of what he did for the company coming back and the whole how he could cut. I mean, it was people started watching wrestling again that hadn't watched in years because of what he did earlier this year leading into WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And
He put eyes on the product that hadn't been on the product in a while.
Yeah.
So do you think because of he's such a big star that it brought non-wrestling fans over to wrestling to watch?
Yeah, and I think that was part of the goal.
Yeah, exactly.
With TKO is to bring somebody of that. They brought him onto the board,
Right.
made him a board member. I mean, he's got his hand in everything
Right.
from
But
professional
'cause
football to everything.
I hadn't watched wrestling in a while, and then
It hadn't been the same, right, since 2020.
Of course, exactly. So, but once it was just all over Instagram.
Yeah.
Like he was just killing Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
And it's millions and millions of views of everything he posted. And I'm like, that's pretty cool, So I just thought that it must have brought a new wave of, fans.
Yeah, it brought some
or viewers,
back, and then a lot of people, from from movies and his dealings in the XFL or USFL and all these different things that he's got his hands in. I mean, it was.
I think it brought a lot of people back that were there for the Attitude Era that may have left the product and came back and started watching it again from where his heyday was. And it made a lot of us feel like we were, either teenagers or in our early 20s all over
Isn't it
again.
crazy how, you can see something and it takes you back to that?
Oh, yeah.
We'll have it off. Like, we love 80s movies. Like, we're big movie buffs anyway, but we'll go back and watch a movie, and then whatever food I remember eating when I watched that movie the first, like we're pizza. I'm like, oh, dude, I need some pizza. If I'm gonna watch this movie, I gotta get some pizza. It's never on my diet, right? But I need to go get. Maybe now that I'm a super heavyweight, I can't.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
there you go.
Time to bulk up. But yeah, it's just crazy how something
Get
can
meat lovers.
invoke that emotion or that memory,
Oh, yeah.
right? And it's a lot
And,
like
and
that.
wrestling, I think, does that. I mean, in wrestling, first of all, you get to check out of the reality of what's going on in this world right now, and you get to focus on something that's just fun.
Right.
And it takes me back to being on that living room floor,
Dude.
and watching it. And of course, whoever I wanted to win, my dad's pulling for the other guy, and my brother's pulling for whoever. But everybody has their guy, right? And that's just fun. And it takes you back to those moments, and that's what I love about it.
Well, you just talking about the living room floor. The amount of DDTs and suplexes and stuff that I've done on people on the couch cushions in the floor in my living room when I was a kid. I think we did every move ever done right there in that living room floor, right? How we're still alive today.
You didn't watch the PSAs that we did, the public service announcements. Just don't
Absolutely
do
not.
this at home.
I think it was
my
pre
top
that.
rope, I think, was like something off the top. I mean, we did it all. I mean,
Yeah.
I honestly remember jumping off the house on top of somebody because I saw it on wrestling.
Oh, I broke my collarbone
yeah.
for the first time. Jimmy Fly Snuka.
Superfly.
And Superfly Snuka, but it was my sister. She jumped off the couch and
Your
Superflies me and broke
your collarbone?
Broke my collarbone. I was like 1, and she's like 6 years old, and she comes off and splashes
that's
me,
hilarious.
breaks my collarbone at like 1 year, at a year old, and that was the first time I ever broke it. But yeah,
Wait. She was 6 and you were 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's child
Yeah.
abuse.
Oh, yeah.
That's bad stuff right there.
Oh yeah, she right off the
That's South
couch.
Kakalaki right there,
Yeah.
boy.
My brother's like the ref, He's Earl Hebner.
He's down in there making sure the shoulders are down.
It was a clean 1, 2, 3. I mean, she
Yeah, no
got
kick
it.
out?
Yeah, no kick, nothing. It was. I completely sold it. It was good. I mean, now mom and dad didn't really care for it that
no, they weren't
much,
happy
but
I could imagine.
yeah, those medical bills started pretty early for them with me. But yeah.
And then your shoulders just never healed, huh?
No, I mean that's the same. I mean, but that was the thing. Like in the living room, that's what what we did as wrestle. And my sister was the toughest one of all.
That's hysterical.
She's still undefeated. She's got
To this day, yeah.
she's got the belt in the living room that we made out of aluminum foil. It's still,
She's still got it.
It's in her
She's
house.
still got the strap.
She's got it just like you. Like you got them in your framed and everything. She's got it in the house right now. Yeah. We try to compete for it, but she won't come out of retirement.
She ain't putting nobody over,
Nope.
right?
She's just like, hey guys, there's other promotions out there, but you're not coming to the light of promotion and taking this belt
that's
anymore.
great.
Yeah, she took it from me and my brother.
There you go.
But let's go learn how to arm wrestle.
Let's do it.
Are we committed to doing it now?
Now we are.
Okay, because 30 minutes ago we tried to get over there.
All right. So the first thing we need to do is get to apply the chalk.
Wow. All right. I'm just gonna
Official here.
Yeah. That's a lot of chalk. All right. Now, so basically just walking the table. With your height, you're going to want to step in. So kind of like front stance, but take your left foot and point that way.
take my left foot.
Yeah, but get a little bit closer to the table.
Okay.
All right. And a little, good wide stance. Reason your left foot's pointing that way because that's the direction you want to go.
You're pulling.
Right? Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So when you grip up with me, ooh,
Good Lord.
whatever. Hand on the hand peg.
Hand on the hand peg.
Okay, so you want to keep your body in tight to the table. You can have 2 points of contact where you can apply back pressure. And I'll explain what that is in just a minute. So if you were to pick up something off the ground, would you be stronger picking it up like this or if you supported your hand here to pick it up?
Ooh, you supported your.
Okay, so to apply back pressure, you want to have your left hand on the hand peg and push with it, right? The other point of contact is going to be your abdomen into the table.
All right.
So if I push my abdomen in the table and I push here, I can drag back further this way, right?
Yeah. That'll we him off right there.
So first,
How's those mitts right there, Taker?
Feels like I'm grabbing a honey baked ham.
now I'm hungry.
I got a honey baked ham with fingers.
So, okay, the first thing we want to do is called riser engagement. So we're going to take your knuckle and point it straight to the ceiling. So you just like this. Boom.
Okay.
Right. So now you close your hand up here. So you keep this knuckle high. On go, you want to drag your elbow straight back as you crunch your wrist down. So this is your cupping movement. Straight down. And then you're going to take this pressure right here and pull through my fingers. Now let this drop off the side of the table. Keep it on here.
Okay.
Now let the elbow fall off the side of the table. Yeah, remember we're pushing on this too. And drag backwards to that opposite shoulder. So you start at the right front and you get into the left rear. Boom, go straight back. Fall that way though. Left to left elbow, fall off the table. There you go, perfect. See, your long lever is perfect for top rolling. So I'm gonna show you the motion. So just feel this pressure. Cup here and now drag straight back.
Yep.
Right? So that's what you wanna try to do. Boom. If you keep this knuckle high, see, the average person who's going to try to arm wrestle you is going to try to push this way.
Right.
But if you do this, you're going to negate all their power because now you're in a wedge.
Gotcha.
So that's how if you just want to beat your buddies, just like a hammer curl
Right.
with the lat drag and just pull straight back. But remember, you keep your body in tight. Oh, perfect. Now drop sideways without twisting your shoulders. Okay, see, let this arm fall off. Perfect. You see how your shoulders stay square?
Yep.
So you're doing this number. Now watch my shoulders. And my shoulders stay square all the way down.
Yep. Gotcha.
You do that. Get in real tight to the table again. Knuckle high. Crunch straight down. Ready to go.
So.
Here.
Okay.
And then drag through my fingers. Drag back. Pull, pull, pull. Just like that. Let's go that way. There you go. Very good. So plot.
You're gonna let me win.
Oh, I'm gonna let you win.
That hand is not going to touch that.
It ain't no way. He's setting me up for a
The
big.
magnet's over here. It's pulling my hand this way for some reason.
I get it. I don't do jobs either.
All right, get it nice and tight again. So
Okay.
that's the most advanced move.
Right.
Is a top roll. And I teach people top rolling because it's the best way to stay injury free. Once you start grinding in with some hooks or some presses,
Right.
that inner elbow joint can get trashed.
Right.
Top rolling keeps you safe. But with your height, you could also be a presser. You could be an inside shoulder press like the guy I'm about to face.
Right.
So I'll show you how to set that up. So get up tall, elbow down. Now you're gonna take this and you're gonna pull with it. So it's like a pec deck, right? Mm-hmm. So from here, high knuckle, straight back up, crunch your fingers straight down in my hand and throw your shoulder on top of it. And try to push me to here. Nope, just go straight down.
Oh, just straight.
Yeah, that's the movement. That's that just redneck inside press, boom. So that's how most people who redneck arm wrestle start. That's what I was good at. That's why I still have that base. but you're more likely to tear your elbow up doing this. So I wouldn't say do this.
I got you.
It's just your height wise, you would be good at this, right? But you want to see what that move feels like?
Sure.
All right, so you just come crushing down with take these two and crush here and throw the shoulder on top. And press. Ready, go. Boom. Yeah, give me pressure. Okay, I'm gonna put a little bit of pressure on you with this move.
Okay.
So it's going like this. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, I got you.
So it's just crushing down here and just some tricep, but really it's just pec and shoulder. Ready, go. Boom. That's actually pretty good. I think you feel better top rolling. Let's do top roll.
Yeah.
Because your long lever feels more natural. Remember this, okay, elbow here, so it falls off the table. Right. Yeah, ready, go, back pressure, straight back, straight back, straight back. Drag, drag, drag. You're just like that. So what you're doing is you're making this move, but you're keeping your elbow stationary.
Right.
So remember I said it's a pulling sport? So tighten back up again, I'm gonna show you. Give me a lot of back pressure. Just pull hard real back. I'm gonna just pull back with you, boom. And then you just go sideways, all right?
Oh, I just got a cramp.
Yeah, you will cramp up doing this. Now you want to see what it feels like to pull on the strap?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Give me a little rub down, will you? Yeah. I think I had him that time.
It was very close.
You got this.
All right, so
Don't let him win. God, this is our show.
all right, so
Don't embarrass
elbow
me.
down. We're gonna put this together here. We'll pull it around here.
Now I can't get loose.
Yeah,
He's not gonna let you go.
Sometimes it's not good to get tied to somebody. I prefer it because most of the times the stronger person.
Mark used to in the 90s.
It's a long time ago.
It's been a minute. Normally the stronger person will win in the straps, right? So we're just gonna cinch it down real tight. So take your leverage, high knuckle, and crunch those so you feel super strong there. I just put the body into the table, hand on the hand peg, and really imagine just trying to pull me to your left shoulder.
Right.
Ready, go. That's perfect. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Keep pulling, drag your elbow, drag your elbow. You see it? Where's Rebecca go? I want her to see that. That's good. So, I mean, that looks really good.
Yeah,
The technique looks amazing.
He looks like an arm wrestler.
This is awesome.
Did you hear that? The technique looks amazing.
Yeah, I mean, oh, super strong, super strong.
Yeah, your technique's good. I mean, we need to call Bert Soren so that.
Okay.
All right, get a shot of this. Look, this technique looks awesome.
All right, come on.
All right, same thing.
Hold on.
Body on the table.
Got to turn it around like they
Oh,
did.
now there's a switch. We're going to tell them about the switch.
Now you're
Oh, over the top now, brother.
that first form. Oh, now it's over now.
That's
now
not
it's
fair.
over. Now it's over. Oh, yeah.
He's coming alive now.
Here we go.
It's go time now. It's go time.
Get in nice and tight, nice and tight. Push and push your abdomen and drag straight back. Here we go. Ready, go. Boom. Drag, drag. Fall table. Here you go. Keep going that way. Drag your elbow. Just keep your arm safe. That's good. Try to give me a little more back pressure that way. Is it okay if I pull back a little bit? Okay. Yeah, that ain't fun.
Holy crap.
But see how it's just a pulling sport?
Yeah, you pull a lot stronger than I do.
You're super. I'm going to tell you, everything about you feels. Had you started this instead of wrestling, obviously would have been a wrong move because wrestling way better financially. But you have all the leverage and all the technique. You could be really, really good at arm wrestling. But
Wow.
what do you want to do? Anything else?
Yeah, I want you to do it to him.
Oh, awesome. Yeah,
He
All right,
loves
Matt.
seeing me get beat up.
Yeah, that's
now
why
you're
you're
from
here.
South Carolina, right? So,
I
didn't you
mean,
say that you
Bad
I was
Chad.
gonna say, didn't you pull a Chad Silver son? You want strap?
Okay, and
It's another story.
my high school, we'll use this. In my high school, we had Bad Chad Silvers, who he's a decent arm wrestler, right?
Oh, multi-time national champion, world champion, bad dude.
Yeah, and but yeah, graduated from my high school, so it's in the water, man. We got
Something
the
about broken ribs, South Carolina.
Bad
strong
Chad
arm
Silvers
wrestlers.
and Lee Haney both graduated from my high school. So there you go.
Well, that has to mean something.
Which one's your bad shoulder?
Oh, my right, but it's already broken, so who cares?
You sure you want strap? No strap.
Either way, this is useless. This is
Grip him up first. We got to figure
here
out
we
what your technique
Yeah, we
is.
got to figure out the technique. You know the technique, though, right?
Yeah, he's taught me before.
So what you got? Ready, go.
Yeah, there's.
It starts to move and you get all happy, right?
Yeah.
And then it just
So I'm
stops.
telling you right now, from what I'm feeling, Taker's gonna kill you.
Oh, I know he will.
It's not even gonna be close.
Wow.
I mean, seriously, I thought that you had that South Carolina bad Chad Silver string. So
Well, this is just a
Are we-
this is a
it's
warm up.
okay.
All right, this is just.
I had to check where we're at.
I gotta, yeah.
So do you want to stay with that inside press? You're gonna go outside? Where are you gonna go?
I mean,
because I'm feeling like the next match is the two of y'all. Like,
So if I do outside,
yeah. So remember, this elbow has to come off the table.
Yeah, I wanna come
if the
here.
elbow's here and you try to pin it, blocks you. So if
Yeah.
it comes off the table, you fall with it, right?
so I want to be here.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Let's try that. Ready, you go. See right there. I don't know. Taker's got a lot of pressure right there. So
I'm pretty sure Matt don't want that smoke.
I mean, you may not want that smoke.
I mean, I am injured, so if he does beat me,
See, that's it. I ain't
It's
gonna
not
touch
even
it.
worth it
No,
now, right?
yeah.
You've already
fact-
made the excuse, so it's not even a victory
I'm
for him.
injured. So it could be if he did beat me, it's definitely because I'm injured.
That's the reason.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you what, me and Michelle are gonna go when I get
Now, okay. Here's the fun part. Where's Rebecca at?
Oh, she'll beat you.
Huh?
Now, Rebecca honestly doesn't arm wrestle anymore. She won't do it.
You won't arm wrestle anymore, Rebecca?
Uh-uh.
She
She don't want it. She don't
want that
wanna get
smoke.
That's it. I'm telling you,
She
back
heard
in the
about
day,
South,
though.
she
Back
heard
in the
about
day,
that South Carolina.
she wouldn't have messed up by no broken ribs. She'd have went right through you.
Man, I did 40-pound tricep pull downs the other day.
You got stuff popping over there I hadn't seen in a long time. That's pretty impressive.
I just,
All right, let's do one thing.
okay.
Grab both hands.
Oh God, I've done this before too.
Hang on. Wait, I'm saying. Never mind.
Hard you want
I'm
to
not gonna go. Through.
Hard you want to
I'm
go.
good. I can put my head over here. I'll be fine.
There's,
He just waited for you to just.
it's
One more,
it's,
one
it's
more.
insane.
All right, here we go.
Just if you look at him sooner, he'll put you away.
Ready, you go. It's pretty close.
doesn't make
It's
any
pretty close.
sense.
It's pretty close.
It makes no sense.
Well, it kind of
34 years.
Oh my
I've been doing it a
gosh.
long time.
man.
That is, yeah.
I mean, your leverage and everything feels amazingly strong, especially for someone who doesn't arm wrestle. You could do very well with this. I mean, I know you're not going to do it. I'm just saying you could do it.
Hey, man, beat the hell out of podcasting. I'm only serious.
It's it's just you're such a freak athlete, though. Who do you think in WWE would have been good at this? Like
Kane.
That's
Kane.
what. So I heard rumors that Kane was amazing in the locker room, so he could beat everybody.
It just he's a freakishly strong.
Big, strong hand.
Yeah.
So much of it's hand strength. If you can control the hand, you can control the match.
Yeah, and he did. He had big, strong hands.
Yeah.
Of
Course, right?
Yeah.
Devin Larratt said the strongest non-arm wrestler he's ever arm wrestled was Shaquille O'Neal.
Wait, it's who?
Shaquille O'Neal
Oh, Shaq, really?
said he's the strongest person he's ever arm wrestled who wasn't an arm wrestler.
Yeah, he did it on the Inside the
Inside the
NBA.
NBA,
Yeah.
yeah.
They did a little thing on the.
He grabbed a hold of him and he's like, that's the strongest person who doesn't arm wrestle that I've ever arm wrestled.
Yeah.
But I mean, look at the size of it.
Look at the size of it.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, because like me standing next to you is like you standing next to him. I mean, that dude's enormous.
Do you think Shaq could have been a good arm wrestler, even as big as he is and all that?
Well, yes. It's just when you're that size, getting into the table, right, is the most difficult part. But also, you may run out of elbow space. You know, like right now, these are 7x7 pads. This is what arm wrestling was for years. They have now evolved to 8 1/4 by 8 1/4. Just because
Athletes, or is it because?
it could be because they're bigger, could be because the matches are more entertaining, the more space. Because so much of arm wrestling now is dragging back. So the further you can drag, the more. And actually, since there's 8 1/4 further forward, further back, you have that big inside press guy. You got the outside guy. So it just kind of makes the matches more entertaining. Have a little bit larger. Devin wants to do it where it's a freedom table, freedom arm wrestling.
Do whatever you want on it.
Yeah, there's no pads, there's no nothing. You can move all around the table. It's crazy. It's called arm sumo in Japan.
Arm sumo.
Yeah, so it's actually a thing, and the strap. It's crazy. But he thinks it's the future arm wrestling. I don't think it's ever going to take off here, but it's fun to watch him do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. So thank you guys for having me. This has been so much fun.
This has been.
Whatever. His hand is enormous.
It
I'm
may be
shaking a
enormous,
huge
but I
hand.
swear it is. It's like shaking a honey.
Oh, I know. Yeah, imagine if you had hands like mine. Yeah.
I'd have my nails done, but
Yeah, guys. So 26 days, East versus West North America, super heavyweight debut on the journey to Levant. That's
Where
the
can
plan.
somebody watch that match?
Well, I will have to send you the information. Do you have it, babe? Yes, so
Yeah,
Rebecca,
we'll
will, send
have-
you, Rebecca will send you the information. See, but it's going to be. I mean, you can pay-per-view it. I think it's coresports.something. I don't know. We'll send you all this stuff. Coresports.world.
We'll make sure the link is in the description of this
and
video. So
it's North American. What's the name of the card? North American Vengeance or something? Yeah. So basically, there's been 13 East versus West. They've all taken place in Istanbul, Turkey. We believe, as North Americans, that it's not fair for us to have to travel to them all the time, right? 'Cause
Right.
that travel does take its toll. Like, you know what's up.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this time, the Eastern Europeans and the Europeans are coming to us. So it's our chance. It's North American Vengeance. It's our chance to prove that the travel does make it, because a lot of times, I'm going to be honest, when we go over there, we don't win the most matches. the East kicks our ass most of the time, right?
Yeah.
But it's just, like I said, the culture is just different.
Yeah.
The culture is different overseas. They're freakishly strong humans, and they really commit themselves to this craft. But yeah, so Orlando, August 10th. It's going to be a lot of fun.
yeah,
Awesome, man.
That's going to be awesome. But we appreciate you coming. Where can people find more about you? And
It's Monster Michael Todd. MonsterMichaelTodd.com, Monster Michael Todd, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, all that stuff.
cool. Well, we appreciate you coming. Just want to say thank you to First Phorm. I'm going to need some protein to recover from what just happened on this table for me because I'm hurting in
Maybe some
places.
counseling. I mean-
Maybe some counseling. So yes.
Hormones too.
Wow. So thank you, First Phorm. Thank you, Happy Dad. They sent us the tall boys, the Snoop Dogg cans.
Yeah, I think we were going through them too quick.
Yeah, so they go the tall boys. The short ones were a little much. We've got some new sponsors too. We have Artisan Grange, 5 milligrams of CBD, like dip pouches.
Really?
It's gonna help you go. I did one earlier. About swallowed that one.
Is that why you're so tolerable today?
Yeah. It makes you feel better. Helps
I
your
bet it
joints.
does.
Everything. So, and you don't have to spit or anything. Get you off tobacco. Yeah, it's pretty good. They taste good too. They got like coffee ones. They got
Was that mint? Is that
Yeah,
mint
they
you
got
got?
wintergreen. They got
I can't
yeah.
get
It's like good for your
Yeah,
breath and
I can't
everything.
do
Like
mint.
it's
Ice
pretty.
mint.
Yeah, ice mint.
There you go.
So yeah, they're Texas based too. Born and raised right here in Texas. I knew you loved that.
There you go.
We got Mando deodorant. We appreciate those guys. We appreciate Wally
I
X.
should have sent some samples.
We got some
Brother, that
samples.
lathered you up a
We're
little bit.
gonna need it this afternoon after this sweat fest that I got. But no, we appreciate all of our sponsors. We appreciate everybody supporting us. But most of all, we appreciate y'all supporting us out there. So go look up Monster Michael Todd and start following him and this crazy journey that he's on to become the greatest of all time, which you already are, I think.
Oh, I appreciate it. I mean, really, and even if I do it, I don't think it'd be greatest of all time. I think that's John Brzenk. No one's ever going to duplicate what he's done, but the goal is one that's big. It's a lofty goal, but
Yeah.
there's no sense. There's
beat
no sense
Devon,
in it. Yeah, there's
man.
no sense in having a small goal, right? You gotta go
You gotta
big
have
or
a
go
big
home,
one.
right?
We need
So-
some shirts. Beat Devon.
Yeah,
There you go.
what you should do is tell him to come to Austin, and then that way we'll actually go to the match.
Well, see, that's exactly.
Yeah,
That's how we
we
need
do it right here. We just do it right here in the studio.
right here.
Yeah,
I mean,
too easy.
that
You don't need a crowd. You don't need a
I
crowd.
don't need a crowd.
No.
We got cameras. We'll get it up.
Yeah,
Right here.
too easy.
That's it.
Awesome,
All right,
man.
brother. God bless. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
All
man.
right.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you, brother.